The priestly society of St. Pius VI is now at the center of nearly every debate in the Catholic world. Not a day goes by without new declarations, public positions, or interventions by bishops and theologians. The reason is clear. An increasingly sharp contrast is developing around the fraternity between two visions of the Church, of the liturgy, and even of doctrine. And just in the last few hours, new statements have arrived that are reigniting the conflict. On the one hand, the fraternity itself, which has spoken openly about the current situation of the Church. In an internal interview published on the Institute's channels, Superior General Father Davide Pagliarani explained that the fraternity continues its apostolate because it believes that a state of necessity exists in the Church today. This isn't just rhetorical formula. According to Pagliarani, many faithful are finding it increasingly difficult to find in parishes what for centuries has constituted ordinary Catholic life. The clear preaching of the truth, traditional Catholic morality, and a celebration of the sacraments that unambiguously expresses the doctrine of the Church. In this context, the priest stated that the current situation would be even worse than that denounced in 1988 when Monsignor Marcel Lefebvre spoke for the first time of an emergency in the Church. According to Pagliarani, some decisions coming from Rome in recent years have contributed to worsening doctrinal confusion. Among the examples cited is one of the most discussed statements of Pope Francis's pontificate, the idea that the plurality of religions is desired by divine wisdom. For the superior of the fraternity, such a statement raises a fundamental theological question. Is it possible to argue that God simultaneously desires true religion and religious error? According to Pagliarani, the answer is clear. Such a position cannot be considered Catholic. But the criticism doesn't stop there. In the traditional world, some pastoral decisions of recent years continue to be the focus of discussion. Among these are the interpretations of Amoris Laetitia, which in various contexts have allowed divorced and remarried people to receive communion, and the document Fiducia Supplicans, which opened the possibility of blessings for same-sex couples. For many Catholics attached to tradition, these developments represent a sign of a change in Catholic morality that until a few years ago would have been unthinkable. And it is precisely this climate that, according to the fraternity, makes it increasingly difficult for many faithful to find preaching and sacramental practice that fully conforms to traditional doctrine. Meanwhile, the issue of the society no longer concerns only the institute founded by Lefebvre. Even bishops of the Church are publicly intervening in the debate, and some of these positions are causing quite a stir. One of the most discussed interventions came from Monsignor Athanasius Schneider, a bishop known for his positions strongly tied to tradition. In an interview with LifeSite News, Schneider directly addressed the most sensitive issue dividing theologians and canonists today. According to the bishop, even if they were to take place without papal authorization, any episcopal consecrations by the fraternity would in no way constitute a schism. His argument is based on a historical point of canon law often recalled by scholars. In the past, episcopal consecrations without a papal mandate were not automatically considered schismatic acts. In many cases, they were punished by suspension, not excommunication. But Schneider doesn't limit himself to legal arguments. He also speaks openly of an emergency situation in the Church. According to the bishop, the current crisis is marked by a growing relativization of truth and profound doctrinal tensions. Among the elements cited is the global liturgical situation. Today, the Novus Ordo is celebrated in approximately 95% of the Catholic world. For Schneider, this rite presents at least some theologically problematic aspects, which is why the question of liturgy continues to be one of the most sensitive points of the contemporary crisis. While these statements fuel debate among Catholics attached to tradition, differing positions continue to emerge from the hierarchy. A significant example comes from England. Bishop Philip Egan, Ordinary of Portsmouth, and considered one of the most conservative voices in the English episcopate, recently addressed an issue that has divided the faithful and canonists for years: participation in the Mass celebrated by the fraternity. In statements to the Catholic Herald, Egan said that the faithful cannot normally consider the Sunday obligation fulfilled by attending a Mass celebrated by priests of the society. The reason is related to the Institute's canonical status. According to the bishop, the priests of the fraternity do not possess the explicit faculties of the local ordinary to celebrate Mass. Egan cited Canon 1248 of canon law, which states that the Sunday obligation is fulfilled by attending a Mass celebrated in a Catholic rite. But precisely on this point, one of the most curious contradictions of recent decades emerges. Various clarifications from Vatican offices have provided varying degrees of consistency on the issue. In some cases, it has been stated that participation in the fraternity's Masses can satisfy the Sunday precept, while recommending that the faithful not develop attitudes of separation from the Church. This ambiguity reflects the very nature of the Society's position. It is not formally schismatic, but it finds itself in a canonical situation defined as irregular. Interestingly, the behavior of Bishop Egan himself also shows how complex the issue is. In 2019, the prelate visited a school run by the fraternity and even sent chrism mass oils to the priests of the institution present in his diocese as a gesture of closeness. The result is a situation that many observers call unique in the recent history of the Church. On the one hand, an institution without an official canonical mission. On the other, a global presence with hundreds of priests, seminaries, schools, and a growing network of faithful. For supporters of the fraternity, it represents a bulwark of Catholic tradition at a time of great doctrinal confusion. For his critics, however, he remains an ecclesial anomaly that continues to challenge the authority of the Church. And it is precisely this unresolved tension that makes the question of the fraternity one of the most explosive issues in contemporary Catholicism. Because behind the canonical and disciplinary debate lies a much larger question. Who truly safeguards the Church's tradition today? And above all, what direction will the Church take in the coming years? What do you think? If you liked the video, comment, Amen. God bless you.